Old and new come together to surpass expectations and take our breath away. Here is Top Gun Maverick ending explained. Do subscribe to our channel and hit a like button to the video. And of course, there are spoilers ahead for the whole film.
Reputation precedes you.
I have to admit, I wasn't expecting an invitation back.
At several points during Top Gun Maverick, we see Maverick almost lose his wings within the Navy forever. It happens at the beginning of the film, when he takes an unauthorized test flight. It happens later when he dares to challenge the restrictions of training. And it happens once more, when he finally loses his cover within the Navy with the death of friend and former rival, Iceman, Val Kilmer, who used his status as admiral to protect Maverick. This is, of course, the ultimate threat one can level at him, as Maverick emphasizes repeatedly that flying is all he knows how to really do well. He spends the whole movie fighting off the idea that he might be out of the cockpit for good, until he's finally proven himself enough to fly as team leader on the mission at the heart of the film. A few hiccups aside, the mission is successful, and Maverick returns home a hero. After that, the film doesn't really tell us exactly what he's going to do next in terms of his career, but we do see him back in his hangar, working on that old P-51 Mustang he's apparently been fixing up for a long time. It's not definitive proof that he's moved on, but watching Maverick take to the skies in the Mustang, rather than an F-18 or another experimental aircraft for the Navy, suggests that he's begun making peace with the idea that he doesn't have to be a naval aviator forever. By finishing the Mustang, he's seemingly finished that chapter in his story.
And death.
Maverick did his best to step in and be a kind of surrogate father for his best friend's son, but at some point, that instinct went a little too far. The film reveals that Rooster is still angry over his father's early death, and also angry that Maverick pulled his application paperwork from the Naval Academy, setting his whole career back by several years because Maverick himself didn't think Rooster was ready. The film presents a journey for both men, not just as individuals, but as teammates, as Maverick has to learn to stop handling Rooster with kid gloves, and Rooster has to learn to stop holding a grudge. It takes a long time for them to figure this out, but when they're shot down together behind enemy lines, they manage to build what looks like a lasting bond. Rooster's presence in Maverick's home at the very end of the film, and his pictures on Maverick's wall, suggests that he'll be sticking around with his surrogate dad for quite some time to come. Throughout the film, even as Maverick is back in her life, she repeatedly warns him from making further advances. Eventually, of course, it's clear that something else is happening, and when they get back together, Maverick makes a promise he won't leave again. He eventually keeps that promise by returning from his near-death experience on the mission, only to find that she's departed on a sailing trip, presumably to ward off the idea that he wouldn't be coming back. At the end of the film, it's Penny who returns to Maverick, not the other way around, suggesting that they've finally managed to meet each other where they both are. Maverick's willingness to take her up in the plane he's restored with his own two hands further cements the bond they've built. They're both ready to settle down, and settle down with each other. Maverick fails to prove himself better than an unmanned program, crashing the experimental jet and leaving an admiral very angry with him. He's shipped off to Top Gun for one last mission, but he proves himself there, establishing the ongoing value of pilots in cockpits even in an age when drones can do a lot of the work. We see Maverick's value to his mission in the film, but one thing that remains unaddressed is how the test pilot programs will be affected by his performance. Will he be able to advocate to higher-ups in the Navy for continued use of pilots like him? Can he save the jobs of the people he used to work with, or is his ability to move on from his old gig a sign that everyone else has to move on too? Rest of the team, it's clear based on the stakes of the mission that each of these pilots will have their lives forever changed by being part of it. They'll get promotions and commendations, they'll take their valuable experience on to other missions, and they might even prove to be the next generation of Top Gun heroes and instructors who'll teach the next class of great pilots how to fly. Maverick's legacy is much more than his own achievements. He's created a whole new group of Mavericks to fly behind him. The mission at the heart of Top Gun Maverick is a complex, dangerous combat flight to destroy another nation's new facility for enriching uranium before said uranium can be deposited at the site. It's a tricky ride full of surface-to-air missiles and enemy planes, so the Top Gun crew has to do their best to prepare for every facet of it. The mission is, of course, ultimately successful. The facility is destroyed, and several enemy planes are shot down in the process. This of course raises the question, what are the geopolitical implications of this operation? It obviously happened under deep secrecy, to the point that the enemy had no inkling it was coming until a series of missile strikes launched to slow their air response. The film doesn't tell us which country is responsible for the facility or how delicate US relations are with them outside of this particular issue. It's possible the pilots at the heart of the mission may have many more combat flights in their future, or it's possible it'll all just go away because no one wants to admit to building the uranium facility. Either way, it's fascinating to think about. By the end of the film, of course, Cyclone grudgingly grows to respect Maverick's unorthodox methods and his abilities as both a pilot and as an instructor. He teaches by getting up there and doing things no one else dares to do, and by ultimately proving that his way of doing things is still valuable to the Navy.